Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this afternoon with Nick and Chris of Wolf Road. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on here. We super appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Oh, just because, are we introducing ourselves now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I sing in Wolf Road.
I'm Nick. I play the drums and I sing as well.
Are you like Aaron Gillespie?
No.
Okay. We were talking. We like got into like a lot of conversations the other night about like Aaron Gillespie like influenced somebody from being a drummer to being like a vocalist, and maybe that's you. Your origin story.
I've heard the name. Can you remind me who he's in?
Under Oath.
I was like, he doesn't even know.
Okay.
Under Oath, and then went on to be in the Almost.
Oh, okay.
I was just Under Oath now.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I play and I like to scream and sing also while I do it. I don't know why. It's difficult, but I mean, it's a good time and everyone at the shows seem to like it, so I just keep doing it.
Didn't you point to like the guy in Chelsea Grin? Doesn't he like drum and rip some brutal screams?
Yeah, that dude's a monster. Yeah, he's really cool. Just like playing blast beats and shit, and then he's like, you know,
goals.
Yeah, that's your goal. Well, we have a lot of fun stuff in store for this episode, which is like we were asked, would you like to do some debuts for Wolf Road? And we're like, what does that mean? And yes, we don't know what that looks like, but we're happy to do it. So what, maybe you tell us what we should be doing here to announce this kind of stuff. Like what's coming up for you?
Well, surprise, surprise. We're dropping a new single today, Blue Moon Reimagined. And, you know, if you followed us before, you would know we had a song called Blue Moon that was on our first EP, Nowhere Around You. Last month, we dropped a song called As Good As It Gets, which was a new single. It was acoustic, which surprised a lot of people. I don't think they were expecting us to do that, transitioning from pop punk and heavier stuff to just a fully acoustic track. And surprise, Blue Moon Reimagined is kind of similar, but it's also got some electronic stuff in the background. And yeah, Blue Moon Reimagined plus As Good As It Gets are both singles off our upcoming EP called Counterpoint. So we're announcing that here now on Emo Social Club. Thanks for doing the premiere of that. And yeah, we've got the Blue Moon Reimagined music video to check out for the Twitch audience who can see that right now. Sorry, podcast audience. You guys are just going to have to Google that shit yourselves.
Yeah, you'll have to look in the show notes for once and be like, what are they talking about? And then click on it.
Yeah.
Where's the video? Where's the video on this audio format? Cool.
That's what we're up to.
Should we do that now? Should we showcase it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. Here's the world premiere. Hold on, I'll do an effect for this. The world premiere. Did it. We did it.
Hope everybody enjoyed that. That premiere.
As a world exclusive for all of you here. People join.
Hell yeah.
So hi, everyone.
Thanks for doing that. Have you guys premiered stuff on here before, or was that the first time you?
That was the first time.
First premiere.
Wow.
We're excited to take your premiere virginity.
Wow. Well, now you say it that way. I'm like ready for the future, I guess.
Hey, listen, our friends Action Adventure have been saying that we are the new TRL, and I don't want to believe it, but now I believe it a little bit. I can't.
I am shitty Carson Daly. Throw it over to this music video by Christina Aguilera. Yeah, so that was your single for Blue Moon, Reimagined. Why don't you take us through like a little bit about the video? Like how did you shoot that and what was the theme and all that kind of stuff?
I think Nick, you came up with the idea, right? You want to speak on that first?
I did. Yeah. So we were kind of thinking, so the track Blue Moon is something that was on our first EP, Nowhere Around You. And that song is a little bit heavier. It's got some screams on it. It's got some riffs. It's got like this like outro breakdown thing. So when it came time when we decided, hey, we want to write like this acoustic EP, I think one of the big missions for us was how can we make all these songs fit like two different vibes? How could you listen to the same song like when you're angry and pissed off, but then also like when you want to chill was kind of the vibe I was trying to go for. So Blue Moon didn't have a music video from the first EP, and because this version of the song was so different, I was like, we should do something a little bit different, interesting for the video. So we came up with the idea. We hit up my friend from high school, Tyler Grameth, who he's been filming videos for a little bit now. We were like, hey, man, would you be interested in doing this? And he was like, hell yeah. And so we shot a bunch of that playing footage basically at like this warehouse at Inside Town, which is we played our last show before the pandemic there, actually. So
I was at that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my last show before the pandemic.
Oh my God. Oh, that feels like so long ago. It hurts.
Over a year. It's crazy.
But it was really cool. So we just hung out there during the day, shot a bunch of footage. And then afterwards, he took it, I think, to his house, and he filmed in his attic with all like these computer monitors he found. And he put the footage on them and just filmed around.
Yeah, basically the idea, because the message of the song Blue Moon's very like political, just being frustrated with politicians that don't do things to help normal people. Hopefully that's changing. We'll see. TBD. TBD. But with the political kind of message of the song, we wanted to keep it kind of angsty and kind of go for a post-apocalyptic kind of thing. So I think that's kind of the vibes it gives off with like this undisclosed location and what's going on. And, we're just kind of being transmitted in to whoever's in the room watching the videos on the TV screens or whatever. So I think it fits the vibe. It's like Nick said, more chill. I think what excites me about it is the fact that it has that kind of like darker meaning and tones, but at the same time, it's like super chill, especially at the end when the lo-fi beats and stuff kind of come in. It's chill Wolf Road to study to.
Wolf Road to study to.
Actually, I love that.
It's a different vibe than the shit we've done before, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the music video gave me like kind of vibes until you just said the political undertones of it. It gave me kind of like a Rise Against type of like attitude and feeling, and that definitely kind of brings it all together, at least for me, when you're kind of describing it. But I also really like how it's more of a political, like not even like overtly, because I feel like there's a lot of people in the scene who are like, more outspoken, like online or like just in, general and public sphere, but in their music, it's not as much. So I think that's a really interesting thing to kind of do and add into your music.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess we're kind of like the opposite. We don't, usually talk that much about politics or anything other than like, hey, go get vaccinated, which, shouldn't really be that political, but I guess it comes across that way these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we just don't want to limit ourselves in terms of what we're going to write about. We have songs about heartbreak, but we also have songs about politics. Like, it's cool to not have to limit yourselves artistically like that.
Agreed. It also,
Yes.
I mean, the post-apocalyptic part of things, like, of course, you mentioned like the video feed is like being transmitted in, and I'm like, yeah, like Zoom or like what we're doing right here on Twitch. And it's like, yeah, it's this sort of parallel to like the messages. Like normally you'd give that message in person, you'd be at a show and you'd be like, all right, like we're going to talk about this. And like, this is what we believe in. And we're glad we're all here. Everybody start a circle pit. If somebody falls down, you pick them right the fuck back up. But in this case, it's like, yeah, we want to get this message out. How do we do that? And it's like, yeah, through screens, I guess, right now.
Yeah. This is the post-apocalypse. Welcome to the post-apocalypse, kids.
Welcome.
You're
watching this on your lunch break.
It's kind of funny, like how you described it as like post-apocalyptic, because I don't know, my mind just instantly wanders to like Fallout, and I'm like, shit, like always. That's a scary world, like
yeah. And that's like, there's no TV screen. Well, there's like very limited TV screens in that, and I'm like, well, at least we have the internet in our post-apocalypse,
right?
Like we're not stuck in a desert with radios.
We are not the Killjoys, is what we're getting at, Brian.
Correct. Listen,
Killjoys make some noise.
Yep.
We can talk about displays. Let's talk about displays later. Let's get to that later. Let's let Lizzie, feel like she's a part of it. We are all from the same hometown, many years separated because I am 100 and you guys have youthful energy and a whole bright future ahead of you.
100 in dog years or 100 generally?
Just generally, just based on calendar.
Looking really great for 100.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
that
you.
Benjamin Button type beat,
Yeah, there's a function on the camera here that just like de-age smoothing. It's all that. It's all faked. It's all for the media.
For the cameras.
Yeah, so our experiences will be different, but we can get to that later. We'll talk about that later. Lizzie, do you have any questions right now?
So when it comes to your new EP, what exactly is going to be on this? Is it going to be more things that are reimagined, or is it just going to be like this kind of culmination of like acoustic and then a little bit more of like a softer take in comparison? Or is it just going to be something that's a culmination of everything?
Yeah, so it's a combo of new and reimagined. It's going to have the song As Good As It Gets that we put out a couple months back on it, which was a brand new song. And obviously it's got Blue Moon Reimagined and a couple other reimagined songs from our first EP. And it was honestly like, I would say maybe the first thing we worked on in 2020. But after, the lockdowns and stuff like that hit, we got right to work on writing new music. And at some point we had the idea to try and do a live stream just to stay in touch with people, and did an acoustic live stream. So that's when we first got the idea to be like, hey, let's translate our songs. But more than that, we really wanted to have a different vibe for each of them. We didn't want to just like play each song and here's the same thing, just spat back out acoustic. So Blue Moon obviously got like the lo-fi stuff and all the extra instrumentation there. We did our song Dogwood, and it's got like a Spanishy vibe. So we were very intentional about like the songs we picked. We wanted to do ones that we felt like we could add something to it, so that it really can stand as its own thing and not just be this like spat back acoustic, version. And that's when we got the idea to do As Good As It Gets too, because we had basically some leftover ideas. And while we were doing the acoustic stuff, we're like, let's just work on a new song too and throw it in there, keep things fresh. So yeah, that's what Counterpoint's going to be, a blend. And we were doing that while we were writing other material. So we've got a lot of shit coming this year, and Counterpoint's just the first kind of phase of that.
Yeah, that was it was really fun too, because we only played like 5 shows literally before the world ended. So it was kind of like shit. We had all these plans to, play with a bunch of other bands, like do some weekend runs, stuff like that. And it kind of seemed like our time playing got cut short. So it was just a matter of time to start working on some new stuff. And then, like Chris said, we did that acoustic stream. And it was kind of the first time we realized, hey, like this could actually be like a cool little thing to do with this time we now have. So we threw that together late last year. And yeah, so now we're getting ready to put it out.
You guys are
very
on some
exciting.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to, fingers crossed, we're looking into maybe doing something to celebrate that as well. If, the pandemic providing, everyone getting vaxxed and being masked up and stuff like that. But the world's starting to come back together. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just trying to get those outdoor coffee shop vibes going.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be great for that.
Yes.
Just like rent out a local coffee shop and be like, hey guys, it's socially distanced. We're outside. Everyone wears a goddamn mask, and then drink your coffee and listen to some chill lo-fi post-apocalyptic beats.
It doesn't seem like it should be that hard to do, right?
No.
Like,
Right?
Not
play
at
by
all.
those rules. So
Lizzie and I were talking the other day that breweries, really hard word for me to say, breweries might be the new move for that kind of thing. You can like sit outside at like a big patio and everybody's got a beer and nobody goes to anywhere nearby, and we just, wave to each other.
I would love that. I kind of was testing the waters on that last month. I did an open mic that was at a brewery, kind of like you're saying. And as far as I know, nobody got COVID. Everyone had to be
Yeah.
masked and stuff, you know, when you're not enjoying your drink. And that was really fun. So that was like my first step back into the world. And honestly, it was like crazy, like playing after I finished the first song I did, like just seeing all these other people there and getting the applause and whatever, singing along, all that shit. Like, honestly, it was getting kind of emotional because it's been over a year. Like, I don't know,
it was
impacted me weirdly.
It was cool. I was there, and it definitely felt really crazy. Like, oh my God, there was a lot of excitement. You could kind of like feel in the room for a lot of people. It was like, this is the first time seeing any sort of live performance in over a year. And it's just like a local open mic. It's like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
A lot of energy for sure. Like way more than people probably would normally have just for an acoustic kind of open mic setting. So I'm hoping that translates into, you know, when real shows come back to full shows, the people are probably going to be bouncing off the walls and ready to go if we're allowed to, you know, mosh and run into each other.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right.
I feel like there is gonna be like, the thing is, it would be like Warped Tour to like, hey, don't mosh, because if you get hurt, it's not our fault. It'd be this. I feel like it would be the same, which is terrible to say, but like you can't go to Riot Fest, and I feel like there's certain bands that everyone's gonna be like, I'm just getting in, and I'd be like, listen, I want to too, but I'm a little scared. Don't know how it's gonna work unless we're all like on that that cyber goth like steampunk energy, and we all got these really cool masks or something. Like we're all Will.i.am's mask in the pit. I would be fine with that.
Lizzie's coming up with a great idea here.
Honey, where's my super suit? That's what I need to get in the pit.
Cyber goths in the pit only.
Cyber goths in the pit. Thing is, like, they don't really mosh. They just do like their moves by themselves, and they're in like such a perfect formation where they already look like they're 6 feet apart. This might be the way to do it. This might be expert timing. Lizzie,
listen, it's time. It's time to bring it back.
I think you're a genius. Crushing it.
I'm going to get you on the phone with Fauci boy, and y'all can sift through this together and figure it out.
Listen, Dr. Fauci, the kids want cyber goth. Listen, I know it's out of the wheelhouse, but that's what they want. Do. You want the e-boy and e-girls to hop on? What this? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Starts putting up the cyber goth memes, and it's like, Dr. Fauci, this is not what we wanted. Not the way to convince people to do this. You guys were on some pretty like you said you only played 5 shows before the pandemic, because you were on some pretty big shows.
I think it was 5. Yeah, exactly.
It was 5. I remember them all.
I've had a year to count it. I've had
implying that I don't remember them.
Well, sometimes you say like, "Oh, we only played 4 shows." I'm like, that's not true.
Maybe one didn't really count. Who knows? Yeah. We don't know.
What do you mean? You were there.
I was at that last one.
Did that one not count?
No, that counted. I just felt like I was the oldest person there. I was like, I'm 25, and I'm like, I don't know anybody else here who I knew one other person from high school, and I knew he was older than me, and that was about it.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That one I think will always be most remembered for me. We got unplugged. That was wild.
I don't think we got unplugged. I think the PA like just shit the bed.
Oh, you don't think someone like hit it or something? I was told that somebody like moshed into it.
Well, there was a lot of kids there.
Much better story.
And it was like all just one level. And when they said it got unplugged, I said, you know what? I can believe that. I can believe that. Yeah. It's a lot of people here.
I just
either it got unplugged or it got overloaded, maybe.
That's what I thought. Just because, like, when you do a DIY show like that and you're using someone's like basement PA system to run like multiple microphones, and for us, our tracks too, like it's gonna draw a lot. But I think my favorite moment from when that happened though was I saw Chris's mic died, so he's standing there. So then he goes and he grabs our guitarist Jeff's mic. And that one's not working. And then I still don't know, for whatever reason. It's like, I thought you would know, like it's out by he comes and he grabs my microphone from behind the drums. I'm like, all right, that's all the microphones here now. It's like, it's got to be the system.
Well, you know, the unspoken rule is you never stop playing no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we did. Like, you played, and it was basically just drums and guitar and bass. And so I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I'm singing, but like no one can hear me. So I was like, fuck it. I might as well try them all.
Yeah.
See which
Might
one's
as well.
hot, and we'll roll with it, you know? So I'm just doing my part, you know, my due diligence.
I get all the microphones now.
Yeah. I remember I saw Escape the Fate show back in the day, and Craig Mabbitt like stole the guy's mic and was using 2 at a time. So I'm like, you know what? I'll up that. I'll go with 3.
Yeah.
3 mics for Chris.
And none of them are on.
None of them are. You'll have to just like get one of those like little toy ones that just like amplify when you just speak into it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
next time you're just ready. You're like, it died. This is the next best thing, everybody. Let's go.
You're on great idea number 2 now. I'll just
Yeah.
bring like a megaphone
Yeah.
or something.
Just
You know, that's kind of edgy too.
a
if you're
pocket
singing through a
microphone, if you will.
Yeah.
Pocket microphone.
Listen, it's sanitary. It's your own. It fits in your pocket.
Would be great.
Hopefully it's pink or something too, because most
Yeah,
of those
it
are
has
like
to
made for
stand
kids. Has to stand out.
You'll
I
have
would
to
love
have your
that.
e-girl moment by having it be pink.
Yep.
That's how you'll
Yeah.
relate to the kids in the audience. To
Hell
Gen
yeah.
Z.
The kids who also have their own microphones with them. Oh, I brought mine too.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Quite a note to leave out for our last show.
Yeah.
But that was a dope lineup. We had Wilmette and Meet Me at the Altar and Luca. I think that was the whole show. Am I
Yeah.
missing someone, Nick?
That was them all. That was a stack lineup. Oh my God. I
Yeah,
want to play
that
with
was
all
a
of
really
those
fun
bands
show.
again.
Yeah. It was cool because I think Luca is the first only other like heavier band that we played with. Am I forgetting someone, Nick? Because usually we play with other pop punk bands. You know, people just figure that kind of works. But we also have like a heavier side, you know, more metalcore kind of stuff. So usually we're just like the heaviest band on the bill by default. So it was cool to have someone else who was like heavier than us for once.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of another like hardcore band like that. I was gonna say Dying and Designer.
I was gonna say that's where
That's
I
cool.
ran into you guys for the first time at that show because he's a friend, but I was like, I actually got there late and didn't see your set, so I'm just gonna apologize for that right now off the bat.
Wow.
I told you about it there,
Damn.
but before anybody comes for me, it's like I already told you
Brian,
guys.
after the pandemic, we're going for the 5-band bills. We're going at the
We are.
start to the end.
We're
Come on.
going. Doors open at 6. I will have a coffee at 5:30 p.m. Be ready to go.
I'll have my work laptop on in the background being like, yeah, that's great. And then just
Yeah.
doing something.
But yeah, I do remember that show, and I was like, oh, it's kind of weird to have like this like heavier pop punk sort of band on this like hip hop bill, like emo rap bill.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, he's got like obviously the pop punk kind of instrumentation going on. So between us and Wilmette was on that one too. I don't know. It was cool. It rounds it out. Like I see where they're going
Mhm.
with that. They're related genres.
It was cool. Our dad was really excited to see Dying and Designer.
Really?
So he was there
Love that.
and he caught the set just because like after the show was announced, he went, he looked him up on YouTube. He's like, this guy's pretty good. And like, that's not our father's usual cup of tea of music.
Of course.
So, but it was still great to see.
I totally forgot about that, Nick. That's so funny. Yeah, like the last thing you would expect him to be into. This guy's like all
This is,
pirate radio, Key West.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
That's his station.
yeah, he was the guy originally who was like, oh, I don't much care for the screaming and the music, but
He's like, Rush is the only supreme band.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I do remember that though. He was like, "Yeah, his Dying Designer is really good." And I was like waiting for the butts or like sarcasm. Like, you being serious? It was. But
That's great,
I
though.
fuck with Dying and Designer, man. That album is so sad. I listen to that shit when I'm trying to feel like a true sad boy.
Yeah. I talked to him a little bit about it at the time because he was his guitarist was playing with us in our cover band at the time. So we were like talking to him about it, and he's just like find like the hardest thing that you ever went through and then just write a lot about it and just be like really, really, really in your feelings and you'll have an album. And I was like, You did that. Okay. Yeah. All right.
You
Yeah.
accomplished that goal.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one too. I don't know. Yeah, we've had a lot of good shows. You're right. And these people are like going places now, like especially Meet Me at the Altar. I think about and even Action Adventure. We played with them on a show too. It's like all these people are getting signed now on fucking Fueled by Ramen and Pure Noise. Like, wow, a lot of shit. You'd be amazed what can happen in a year where people can't go anywhere or do anything.
I know.
Oh.
Like, man, you'll only have a few shows or bands like start and it's like, hey, here's this. Like, we can't wait to get you out on an actual tour in maybe the next couple of years. But until then, like, we'll just vote you and your music and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's working. I do think it's really strange, but I'm like, also, we're all so hungry for new music and for new content and new stuff from people that it's like, yeah, give it all to me. Just make as much as you can right now, I guess.
Yeah, I know there's like kind of two ways people look at that. Like some of them have said, we're not going to release music until we can tour again and stuff. But I'm glad that for the most part, people are putting stuff out because, yeah, like, fuck, it's been a year. What are we going to do? Like, I really needed that to have stuff coming out. So we're trying to do our part with that. Got more on the way. Got Counterpoint coming at the end of the month. May 28th. I don't know if I shouted out the date before, but May 28th, the full thing's dropping.
Always good to remind.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you gonna say something, Nick? It looked like I cut you off there.
I was just gonna say, yeah, with like all these bands putting out new music and stuff during the pandemic, it's awesome because like I love new music, but sometimes I get sad when I think about next time some of these bands might be able to come around and like tour, they might have already moved on to like a new album cycle, and I'm like, shit, like I might have missed an era, and it's like,
Yeah, that's kind of a weird. I've thought about that too. It's weird for us because we're in this space where, yeah, like we played a couple shows, like we still feel like we're a baby band.
yeah.
Like this thing was just born. We played a couple shows, and it's like, well, we're on to the next record and just keep it moving. We've been a band like in COVID and quarantine longer than outside of it.
Yeah.
A weird
damn
way to live your life.
Yeah.
We've talked to some bands that have been like that too, and it's just so weird because, like you said, like there's like this evolution too happening. I know for Hot Mulligan, they had "You'll Be Fine" come out, and they couldn't tour on it. And then the most recent single they put out, apparently a bunch of people were upset it didn't have as much screaming in it. And they're like, "You're changing. I don't like this." And they're like, we can evolve and have like new sounding music. It sounds pretty similar. There's just not as much screaming. But I think that like what you're bringing up is that, people are starting to move into different album cycles or different like styles in a sense. And then we're missing out on like what the full experience could have been if, we didn't have COVID, or, if more shows were able to happen, or even if they were able to do a few live stream shows. I think that that's something really interesting because I never really thought about that at all.
I don't know. Just like, I guess one thing, like one band example I really think of is like Alpha Wolf put out their new album this past year, and they put that out like right in the middle of quarantine, and like it's a really good fucking album, and and like they're in Australia too, so it's like could be a fat minute before those dudes ever get back over here, and by then it's like, oh, maybe they'll have a new EP, and maybe they won't play as many of like the new songs that I really love. So that's kind of where I'm coming from there. And actually, Hot Mulligan, we went to that Riot Fest Halloween show they did where
the drive-in.
Yeah, it was really cool. And they were like, this is the first time like we've ever played some of these songs. I was like, fuck yeah. So glad I got to catch that. But like you said, time goes on, they put out the next EP, and then worried like, will I hear like some of those favorite songs, live?
On a slightly more positive note, high key recommend drive-in shows though. I don't know if like that's going to be a thing anymore because they're aiming to actually have things open by July or August, it looks like. But we went to two. We saw that one, and then we also saw Beartooth in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it's not the same thing as like you catch them at Bottom Lounge or House of Blues or whatever, and you're moshing around.
Right.
But it was still a great time, and I'd say like vibe wise, it kind of reminds me of going to a festival, and just kind of seeing a band maybe from afar, or like more casually hanging out. And so even though it's not exactly the same, like I would be going way more crazy if I hadn't had the chance to go check out those couple drive-in shows. So I think it's a fun thing that, maybe for shits and gigs people do again in the spring or in general.
I know that SeatGeek Stadium are only doing drive-in shows still this summer. So I don't know who's going to be there, but some of them are still happening, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is that the one? So go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I mean, I was just going to say, I hope that it stays as a variety so that people who feel comfortable only going to a drive-in have what they want to do. That's probably me. Like mostly for right now, it's like, that's all I really want to do. If people feel comfortable around September for a Riot Fest or a festival of some sorts, they can do that. If people only want to stay at home and do live stream stuff, there's still a lot of that option out there, and people are doing that. So I hope it stays variety. I do think that that's really the realistic thing that's going to happen, because people are going to be at different levels of comfortability over the next year still. And I'm like, man, don't everybody just go out at like, hey, we're doing this night at this venue, and it's like, I don't want to go to that. Put it on the internet. Like, show it to me there.
I think it's real interesting. So like the other day, my dad had asked me, because he really liked Genesis, and they were coming back and they're playing United Center show in October. So he's like, can you try to like buy me tickets? And I was like, okay. So I went on. It was $650 per ticket for 300 level seating. And I said, hey, no. And he's like, that's ridiculous. And then Summerfest just announced today, and the Jonas Brothers are there. I love the Jonas Brothers. So I'm like, I gotta go. And I was looking at what their ticket prices would be. Their ticket prices are still the same prices that they were before COVID for their United Center show. I know it's up in Wisconsin, so it's a little bit different, but I think because there's going to obviously be a huge price discrepancy depending on certain bands and just certain artists, that like you have to offer, I think, live streams as just like a way to offset those people and fans you're going to be losing, because I don't know who can afford $650 to go see a vintage rock band in the nosebleeds and be like, yep, this is it. This is the vibe.
This is what I wanted. Worth my $650.
In this economy, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Putting those Biden bucks to tickets.
I don't even know about Genesis, because if I was going to go, I'd want to hear that drum solo, but right? I don't even think that's a Genesis song. It's like a Phil Collins.
Yeah, you would have to see Phil Collins by himself.
Yeah.
I would go solely for that drum fill.
$650 for a drum fill.
People,
If you
there'd be like 500 people ready to go for that.
Yeah.
Listen, if you and those 500 other people though chant, play the drum solo, you coward, they gotta listen to someone. They just
that's a long one. How would you clap that out? Like,
yeah,
play the drum solo, you cow. Like,
yeah, or you just aggressively yell. I usually just aggressively yell and hope for the best.
Actually just causes them to just walk off stage.
Yeah.
We got any Nickelback fans in Portugal?
I was literally just thinking, the video he's talking about? There's like a greatest hits of like people getting booed off stage and stuff. That's one of them. It's Nickelback, but it's got like Guns N' Roses and shit in there too. A lot of bands. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
I highly recommend it if you ever have 5 minutes in your day.
You just watch a bunch of bands get booed off stage. I'm into it.
It's not even like just getting booed. It's like the Guns N' Roses one is like Axl Rose, like just mid like song. He sees someone with a camera. He's like, take that camera, God damn it.
Oh my God.
And he dives off the stage at this guy. And that is content that I just want to watch.
Remember the summer of everybody being like, no cameras allowed. And we were like, all right, that's cute. That's funny. That's nice.
I went to a Perfect Circle and they said no cameras. They had security guards around every like area where people were sitting and standing. They had signs on the back of every chair, no cameras. They're like, we were reminding you to keep your cell phone in your pocket. I was like, this is really weird how like obsessive you're being about it, but it was kind of cool. Like it was kind of just like, And I went to that concert alone because I am alone. But I was like, oh, I mean,
I
who am
don't
I
know many
texting? I'm
other
at a
people
show
who
by
are
myself.
into Tool, so that makes sense, Brian.
Hey, perfect circle. Different band. Going to Tool alone. I got friends.
Okay. Okay, Brian.
Yeah, I've always thought it's a weird thing, like when people do crack down that like no cameras, like what's the thought process that if you see this video online, you're not going to go like, oh, I saw somebody's really shitty phone recording. Now I don't have to go see MGK or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how that
helping
works.
me right now because they did put somebody put MGK's full concert in Florida up online, and I'm like, well, that's good because I would not have gone to that show.
Yeah, I would not have gone to that in Florida.
Oh,
I'd be like, I'm watching from home, the safety and security, knowing that I am vaccinated and safe and not there.
I almost forgot about that. That's true. I perused that video because I was like, I want to see what he's playing. But but I'm like, yeah, dude, this seems a little like it was a packed like arena or whatever. So
dude, he put his microphone out to the crowd, and I'm like, that's how people die. That's how people will die.
Oh my god!
Like dumped it in their faces, and I'm like, get that out of here.
It's not what I would do.
That's when you need your pocket microphone.
Yeah,
that's your spare one. You give that's like the one for the audience, and then the one for yourself.
It's coming full circle now. Now I know specifically when I'm going to use that pocket mic to avoid killing people in my sold out Jacksonville. I think it was Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was
arena show,
sounds right.
whatever.
It's a Florida place.
Yeah, one of those.
I totally just thought of like that tweet. I saw once where when you're talking about like, oh, watching from the safety of my house, and this guy's like, I like it inside. There's liquor here and the crime rate low. And then someone comments like, what do you mean the crime rate should be 0? And he's like every now and then a bitch gotta get slapped.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
0 makes the show a lot less fun.
The internet's a great place.
Listen,
my other favorite. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you just have to add some type of entertainment to it. You have to act like you are your own reality show.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. The other one that's my favorite is the one you showed me like a week ago. The guy's like, "How I keep the crime rate low?" How I keep the rent low.
Yes.
It's the TikTok with the guy is like how I keep the rent low in the neighborhood, and he just like shoots his gun out the front door, like the whole clip, and it's like
15 times.
Oh my god!
Listen, I saw somebody stitch it, and they said that that's a legitimate thing to help with like not to stop gentrifying areas. They'll do that once they see too much change. They're like, nope, gotta start shooting up some gunshots. Gotta keep it low. And I'm like, holy shit!
What the fuck?
Asterisk looks at my own neighborhood and starts to think about all the noises I've heard. And
Brian, it's your turn. Your turn.
I want to keep this neighborhood the same. I'm here now. Don't change it from now. Like I have a gentrifying face. I'm nice.
Just yell more. That's your contribution. Nice. Just yell more.
Gentrifying face.
I have a gentrifying face.
You just gotta scare your neighbors. Get creative. You can come up with something.
I'm gonna walk outside and just be like, "Hi," and they're gonna be like, "Nope, get them out."
Oh my god.
I wanted to ask you because we were talking about a bit of like, everybody's releasing music during this, and a lot of people are releasing primarily EPs, including yourselves, including a lot of people. It's like EP rather than like a full record seems to be the way to go. And I was thinking about when you were like, we're going to miss these like eras of these bands because they're out here and, they're releasing music now, but then by the time they're actually at a show, we're not going to be able to hear that whole thing. But then I'm thinking like, well, if they are releasing EPs, maybe that's like part of the thought. Like we'll release an EP and then it's like less music to put out so that now when we actually go to a show, it's like, well, you liked those 5 songs or 6 songs or whatever. So now we can play all of those at the show. And my other assumption is that like, we're going to have shows that last 6 hours period, because everybody's going to be like, I don't want to go back home. It's sad there. So like, maybe that's the way we like see things going, or was there like a thought behind like doing an EP rather than doing full length? thing for you guys?
I mean, maybe this is my unpopular opinion, but I almost like EPs better. Because even like my favorite bands, usually if they put out a full record, I'll find 2 or 3 songs that I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm never going to listen to it again. Like it's just okay or whatever. Maybe I'm just picky as hell. But I'm like, most records I listen to, like you could cut 30% of this. Just cut the fat. Give me all the bangers. That's what I want. So I kind of, maybe that's just where people's attention spans are. They're getting shorter. Mine is getting shorter. But I kind of like having just 5, 6. Give me your best shit and let's go.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm also kind of in that boat. I mean, I still, if the album slaps, the album slaps, and I'm going to listen to a significant amount of it. But I think just in at this time, currently with music and listening, it's just better to have like EPs and then to consistently be dropping like new singles and things like that, just to keep like the listener engaged.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is like you could have a record, or let's say it's the same amount of music, but you space it out differently, basically. Like I think it's cool to have more stuff coming more frequently than like when a band drops an album and it's like, see you in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
4-year album cycle. Ridiculous to think about. Like bands were like, yeah, we'll put out a record every 4 years.
Right.
Why? Do more.
Did you break up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone's wondering, guys. Like, come on, TikTok, let's go.
Yeah.
I feel like if you wait too long, too, it gets to that point where it's like nobody kind of cares anymore. Like if you wait a certain amount of time, you even put stuff out, there's hype, right? But eventually it goes so long that like when you do put it out, it's almost inevitably not going to be as great as how much people have been hyping it up. And I think that happens when people do albums and it's like every 4 or 5 years or whatever, especially if like they've been working on it.
Yeah.
It's like the Chinese democracy effect. If anyone remembers
I have that on vinyl. I have that on vinyl.
They spent like 15 years making that album or something.
Yep.
Oh my God.
It's not good. It's objectively very not good.
I'm like honestly waiting because all the indie kids from Tumblr 2014 are like, where's Lord's next album? And she's like, I'm working on it. And I think that some part of a song had leaked from it and people are like, this isn't good. So I'm waiting for that to possibly happen with Lord. And all these people are going to be like really upset. And I'd be like, hey, what's going on, girl? Let's talk about it.
And Lord.
Man, I feel like I haven't heard anything from her in a while. Like that's a good example. Maybe I just haven't really been in tune. But when was the last time she did? It was years, you said?
It was years ago.
Yeah.
Was that
whatever
melodrama?
Yeah, melodrama.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never really listened to like a ton of Lord, but like my roommate like fucking loves her. So I've definitely heard my fair share of Lord tracks.
Yeah. Her first record was so good. So good. One of my top.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big proponent of keep the music coming, so we could release the same amount of stuff, I guess. But also it just like, it takes a while to make stuff too, like if I was going to go away and do a full record, especially when you have like a day job and shit like that, like it would take even longer to do it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to keep this baby moving. Let's get some tunes out and roll.
I think it's even more important right now to like stay relevant because while it's great that the pandemic has brought a lot more like bands and new artists, it's like, okay, now we're really oversaturated. Like the industry was kind of saturated before, but now it's like really so much more so. So it's like you kind of have to keep putting something out, even if it's like a single, every handful of months and say, hey, we're still here. Hey, we're still doing this. We're still like moving forward and like, with the end goal, hypothetically speaking, for anybody, like of playing live and still being this artist band collective, whatever it is. So I think that moving forward with doing like EPs and just singles or even, doing reimagined things with your music is going to be like the new game plan.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, it's a hot take, but I prefer to have more stuff more frequently.
I agree. I think I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's an appropriate take based on how the music industry is moving, especially with I think that last count, it was 1.1 billion bands. Not an actual, but there's obviously like a lot of musicians.
Chicago local scene.
They're all Midwest emo. There's just so many bands, and everybody still interested in finding new bands, and they're interested in being a part of new music. And obviously a lot of people are creative and they're putting out really good stuff. I personally think a lot of bands right now are putting out some of the best stuff that like I think we've ever had as far as like a music scene, especially in alternative music, punk. And it's like that is such a like way that everybody's thinking now, but we're still having the conversation of like, is this like better than putting out albums and records? And it's like, well, I mean, everybody's doing it already. So like clearly, yeah, like we just agreed that like albums and that were the way we did it because that's how we grew up. But there are people growing up now where they're like, yeah, bands put out one song, bands put out an EP, bands do concerts before they even have 30 minutes of material. Like that's just what happens. Yeah, I mean, you got to do it. You know, you got to go to the show and it's like, well, we have 4 songs. It's like, you're on a bill. I don't know what to tell you, man. Write it, play a C chord and just hold it for 5 minutes. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But eventually, like, you know, I don't think it's going to be a take because we're not going to have that conversation of what it used to be like where the album cycle did last so long. We're just be like, yeah, we put out music all the time now. Like we wrote a song today. Here it is. Like, that's it. Farm to table music.
When you say that, just hold out a C chord and play, that like resurrected some memories in me that I forgot I had. My fucking band that I was in high school, we like, I don't remember what it was. We didn't have enough songs or whatever. We were kind of like a heavy band, but not really. It was more like Avenged Sevenfold kind of stuff versus like the hardcore scene.
Right.
You know, like Burn the Remains, like those kind of guys.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think we actually might have played with them on the show. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, if it's the show, I think you're going to describe that. Yeah, you did play with them.
It was with Burn the Remains.
Yeah.
And we were like, I think this is what it was. We were like, we don't have enough heavy songs. We need to play something heavier. So we literally just like spent 2 minutes playing random breakdowns.
Yep.
And someone was like just screaming. I don't even remember what it was, gibberish.
Yep.
We're like, guys, we need to fit in. We're not heavy enough. And we just played this, literally this, basically what you're saying, like hold the C chord and go. But it was just like chug, chug, drop D, scream. And you know what? In hindsight, they probably thought we were making fun of them.
Oh yeah.
It was probably even worse. You should have just played our shit, you know?
Literally peer pressured yourself into being a heavy band.
Yeah, that was fucking wow. That was trauma I had buried that I forgot about.
Here on the Emo Social Club podcast, we have you on to talk about your music and to look at a little bit repressed trauma that you had from the music scene. Hello.
Finally, a podcast for me.
Free therapy session. I'm so happy to be here.
Group therapy on Twitch, through the internet, and face to face.
Yeah. Wow.
I do. I remember Remains too. That's a name I haven't thought of in a while.
Is that a good transition to Displains talk?
It can be, I guess. I mean, look, we had 2 bands, and it was them and now you guys. Okay.
Hell yeah.
As far as I know, like that's. I mean, I thought it was going to be me.
Can you make
know?
100 Gex an honorary Displays band solely for the Gex?
I guess
tree?
so.
Yes.
Technically, they're St. Louis. Technically, because they both were there when they were making the music, and then Laura moved to Chicago. So technically, they have a little bit of that, like, you know, the Midwest Chicago side of things. I'm gonna say it because I want to claim it, you know.
Dude,
so we were talking about this before we hopped on, but like, what was the deal with the tree? Like, did they even know about this, or was it just like whoever took the photo just happened to be in Displains? Like, how does that even happen?
They just showed up, I guess. There was like driving through.
Have you guys actually been to that tree?
I have not been to the tree. I've been telling Brian we need to make a trip out there just to take like a promo photo of the tree, just to be like bringing it all together for the meme.
Yeah.
But we have not.
Last summer, So I've heard of 100 gecs. I can't say I've heard too much outside of like maybe the 2 songs my friend showed me to get the general idea.
Of course.
But he was like, yeah, the tree is literally across from like the park district. And I was like, wait, like where we live? And he's like, yeah. So we drove there, and literally people just bring shit and leave it at the tree. Like it looks like some sacrificial shit. and it's like, oh, all right.
Why do I have like no idea where this is? I'm not real displays.
Do you know where Mountain
Apparently.
View is, Chris? Like the mini golf? It is across the street, basically.
Huh.
Like we parked the car and just crossed the street, and it is right there. And it's in front of like some sort of like building shipping facility thing. And I'm sure all the time they just see kids fucking showing up. They're like, what the fuck are they doing out there?
Well, you said they were gonna like cut the tree down.
They thought about it because there's just like all these people coming by there, and they were worried about. I mean, a lot of this happened during the pandemic of time, and so I'm sure there was like, well, this seems unsafe. Like a bunch of kids leaving shit. I think like the people who would like tend to like the area around there, like the grass and that kind of stuff. They were like, we don't really like all this like stuff here, but it's just like toys, like random little like meme toys and stuff, and it's like we don't really like this being here. And like, all right, well, the internet got a hold of this tree, so we have to cut it down. Everyone's like, no. Also, you can see it on Google Maps. It's actually like tagged on Google Maps as like 100 gecs tree.
I love that.
And it has a bunch of photos of people that went there and like took the same photos of like all the stuff that has been left around it. Like it's all on the internet too. So people are making their pilgrimages to this tree.
So Wolf Road, burn the remains, and honorary 100 gecs. There's probably a couple more. Actually, I think Luca says they're based out of Des Plaines.
Okay.
Sounds right.
So
That's familiar.
Shared a bill with another Des Plaines band. Very exciting, but
Rare to do. Rare to have it.
Yeah.
So the first Wolf Road shows back is going to actually be at the mini golf course across from the 100 gec tree.
Yep.
So we can all just bring it together.
That's really funny because we've actually played there.
Yep.
Several times.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it could happen. Yeah.
Like Lizzie's saying it, and I'm like, Lizzie, I'm pretty sure everyone in Des Plaines has a band, has played at that fucking mini golf place.
Listen, but it's new to everybody else. And then we're gonna say, guys, we're gonna go across the way to the tree, and we'll have a little bit of an after party there. It's fine.
Yep.
Socially distanced. Everyone wears their goddamn mask.
After party at the
Swear
Gex
to
tree.
God.
Before we started Wolf Road, Nick and I played in a cover band. We did just like pop punk covers like Fall Out Boy, Green Day, all the good shit like that.
Of course.
And we did our first show for that band at the mini golf place, the skate park in the back, whatever there. It was so funny because it's like, just a couple friends that knew about it because it was our first show, and just people like skating in the background. And then like our guitarist's family shows up, and there's all these like 50-year-old uncles just like sitting down.
Yep.
Like that was 50% of the population of that show, just like suburban dads that rolled through for that one in the middle of the skate park. So, yeah.
Skate park there too. There's a skate park right there at the mini golf place.
I really just feel like this is an untapped source that we're just gonna have to like say, guys, guess what? We're bringing back skate park mini golf shows. It is early 2000s. I think that's what happened during it. I was a child during it, so I'm just gonna try to bring it back. Okay.
What a comeback!
What a comeback! Yeah, I'm like 100 years old, so I'm like, yeah, all this sounds like appropriate. It's exactly what we need. Yeah. I'm in.
Let's get like those Knights of Columbus shows going.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. I never got to experience that.
Same.
I never went to any of the good bands. I went to see like a bunch of shitty hardcore bands. I did see Quiet Drive. That was a band I saw at the Knights of Columbus, but I missed all the Academy Is and the Fall Out Boys and the bands like that.
Boys.
The Fallout Boys of Fallouting, Boys of Falling Out,
Boys of Fallout.
Oh, another Des Plaines band we can talk about. October Fall.
Yeah, I've heard of them actually.
Yeah.
They were like a thing for a minute, right? Then they toured with Fall Out Boy and
literally 1 minute. But yes.
Oh my God, you're so salty.
I'm not necessarily like salty anymore, but it's like that's the one band that like I went to high school with that was on Cadence, but then went on tour with like Fall Out Boy and Paramore, all that stuff. And it's like I knew these guys in the band, and I'm like, should have been me. I'm like, there's a really good reason that it wasn't me. But then now in my older age, I can look back at it and go, you know what? Good for you. But you were kind of assholes to me directly, specifically. So now, never mind. I'm glad your band broke up.
Damn.
The karma came back.
Karma came back for him, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I had, when I was in high school still, like one of the teachers had like her son, I guess, was in that band. And she was telling me about that and showed me like newspaper clippings or something from that too. And it was like, toured Japan with Fall Out Boy or something like that. And they're like, yeah, we got matching tattoos with the Fall Out Boy guys. So just trying to rub it in a little bit more.
A little bit.
But I was like, damn, that's sick.
Was that Mrs. Karkowski?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was good friends with her son. A year older than me, but we're all friends. I mean, he was really nice. He was their tour manager. He was really cool. Just like, oh, that guy is being mean to me, and he's like, I don't know, man, like get over it. And I'm like, no.
Did you go to West?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I graduated in 2005 though. Like I'm 100 years old.
I graduated in 2017.
So we have to wrap up this podcast because I just found out that
when I told Brian I graduated high school in 2012, he's like, all right, now we got to go.
Gotta get out of here. Before we wrap this up, let me make sure you have time to throw out all of your plugs, throw out where everybody can find you. Obviously, for the recorded version of this, the video is already out. Where can people watch it? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so we're on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good shit at Wolf Road Band, spelled like Wolf RD. Some people want to write out the whole name road. You don't got to do that. It's like if you're looking at the street sign, you're watching the video version. It's like that.
Yeah, you're working.
RD Band.
You're working too hard if you're spelling it out. Don't put that on yourself.
Only to an extent.
Yeah, don't work that hard. So at Wolf Road Band on all social media. We've got the Blue Moon Reimagined single out right now. Thanks so much, Emo Social Club, for premiering the video. And our acoustic / reimagined EP Counterpoint is coming out May 28th. So mark your calendars. We'll have the pre-saves going along for that soon. And we're also going to have some merch coming in the near future.
Ooh.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, Nick?
Yeah.
No.
Did I nail it? Fucking crushed it?
Yeah, he killed it.
Hell yeah.
Do you want anyone to follow you guys personally on the internet?
I mean, you'll find us out on there too. I'm at Chris Hoffmonster. I think it's Chris_Hoffmonster on Instagram. But, if you follow the band, you'll find us. You'll find us somewhere.
Well, sweet. Well, yeah. Everybody who's listening, make sure you go and check out the new stuff. Run those numbers up. 1 million plays by Monday, I guess. Let's say by Monday. You got until next Monday to get 100 million plays. I'm even raising the number. You got plenty of time. Get it up.
Oh my God.
Run it up.
You can do that.
Play it in the background on silent. Don't worry.
Do it while you're sleeping. It'll be perfect. It'll just be it's that chill but also angsty. That vibe. Lo-fi Wolf Road beats to chill to.
You probably honestly could fall asleep to this in like a really good way though.
Yeah. A positive way to fall asleep to it.
Yeah.
Go check everything out. Follow them on all the socials. And thank you guys both for coming on the pod today. We'll be sure to check you guys out when you play your next show at a mini golf course, I guess, or a brewery or wherever it is.
Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Of course.